What would happen if two of the most famous yellow mascots of gaming went toe-to-toe in a battle to determine who would come out on top? I'm Ink and this is Smash Bracket, a show dedicated to solving that exact question. If each playable character from the Super Smash Bros. Series was entered into a giant fighting tournament using them at the peak of their strength, who would be victorious? The rules for this series are on screen now, with a link for a further breakdown in the description below. With all that in place, let's take a look at today's match between Pikachu and Pac-Man to see who will advance on to the next round and who will be disqualified. Let's get into it.
Pikachu!
In the world of digital entertainment, a few different characters have cemented themselves as long-standing icons of the genre. Mickey Mouse, SpongeBob SquarePants, Homer Simpson, etc. But while many of these famous characters come from the West, on the other side of the world, a new franchise threw its name into the ring of iconic fictional mascots. Pikachu from the Pokemon franchise. Pikachu truly is a household name at this point, and his fame is undeniable. He appeared in the very first Pokemon game for the original Game Boy, and quickly became a fan favorite due to his fun, memorable design. Which, by the way, that classic fat Pikachu design is just so much more fun to me than the newer, sleeker, modern design. Just something about the whole yellow marshmallow with legs and a tail model of the character was so much more relatable to me as a child. Pikachu's popularity quickly exploded to new heights when he was featured as the flagship character in the Pokemon animated series, alongside one of the most unintentionally fast characters in all of media, Ash Ketchum. Pikachu himself stands at just 16 inches tall, and on average weighs about 13 pounds. While most of the popular Pikachus throughout the years have been male, we can actually see both a male and female Pikachu represented in Super Smash Bros., which we can see by looking at the heart shape on Pikachu Libre's tail. As likely the most famous Pokemon of all time, Pikachu has had more screen time across the entire Pokemon franchise than perhaps any other Pokemon. As such, he has had years and years for Nintendo to give him plenty of freaking weird feats and quirks. Some of these are just fun-spirited personality gags, such as Ash's Pikachu loving ketchup. But let me tell you friends, that is just scratching the tip of the Pikachu weirdness iceberg. For example, here's a scene of Pikachu sneezing on a group of people and then using that sneeze to unshrink them. Even the characters in-universe had no idea how he did that here. Pikachu can also absorb electricity to heal himself, including attacks from other Pokemon, which, sure, absorbing another Pokemon's electricity to become stronger, I can buy that. He's an electric Pokemon, why not? Well, what if I told you that he can absorb his own electricity to increase his power? His own electricity to increase his own power. Have you ever seen that meme of a buttered piece of toast taped to a cat, and then the joke is that it creates an infinite energy machine and a reality-defying fit of never wanting to land? Yeah, that meme is essentially Pikachu here. I don't understand it, you probably don't understand it, Nintendo probably doesn't understand it. But they were just like, I don't know man, it's freaking Pikachu, why not? And that ideology, I don't know, it's freaking Pikachu, why not? Seems to have carried over to a lot of the characters' appearances and feats, such as this scene here. Do you want to tell me what just happened? I'm not going to say that he was flying, because that would be very, very stupid. But also, look at this, he's flying! He's just flying through the air and then decides, actually man, I'm not all about this being knocked away thing, and reverses his momentum into an attack through sheer tyranny of will. Not only this, but Pikachu is also incredibly smart for a 1-foot-tall Thundermouse, which we can see on display here in this scene where Pikachu plans the flight of a rocket ship and then interprets its data for a successful launch. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, Ink, why on earth is Pikachu doing rocket science and navigating a flight mission? To which I would say, that is a great question, I'm glad you asked. Anyway, now that we've talked about some of the stranger abilities that Pikachu has, let's talk about his moveset. Surely that will be more normal. So anyway, here's Pikachu manifesting a surfboard to hit his opponents with a wall of water by using the move Surf. All jokes aside though, Pikachu's moveset isn't all that unexpected when compared to what you might see in another Pokemon's moveset like Jigglypuff. He does have a few surprising moves like Surf, Grass Knot, or Rain Dance, but the majority of his moves center around one unifying theme, being the cutest whittle electricity demon that you've ever seen in your life. To allow himself his maximum thunder potential, Pikachu protects himself from damage with moves like Substitute or Double Team, both of which make it harder for his opponent to land attacks, and he can also heal himself with the move Wish. Pikachu can also increase his defensive and offensive abilities with a variety of moves while lowering those of his opponents. But his cuteness really comes in when he lowers his opponent's guard with moves like Charm, Growl, or Tickle, because that exists. All of these help to lower his target's attack power or defensive ability. He can also assist this effort with moves like Attract, which can immobilize opponents of the opposite gender with love. Once his opponent is nice and relaxed and in love, Pikachu can electrocute the ever-living poke-crap out of them with attacks like Thunder, Thunderbolt, Thunder Wave, Thunder Punch, and Thunder Shock. I'm noticing a pattern here. All of these shock his opponent with powerful, electrifying attacks, which have a chance of leaving his opponent totally paralyzed. And this is an effect that he can recreate from merely coming in contact with his enemies. Due to his abilities Static, each time that Pikachu is hit by a physical attack, there's a 30% chance that it leaves his opponent totally paralyzed. Despite most of his moves using the same electricity, Pikachu has a surprising amount of versatility with his electricity, such as the move Electro Web, which creates a spider-like web of electricity to slow down his opponents. Pikachu can also create a field of electricity with the move Electric Terrain, which boosts the power of his attacks by 50%. This power increase can be capitalized on even further with the item that Pikachu will be given for this battle, the Light Ball, which doubles the attack power of a Pikachu. But some of his most recognizable and dangerous attacks are his signature Z moves. Through working with his trainer, Pikachu can use the 10 million volt Thunderbolt or Catastropika. And funny names aside, Pikachu's power output is no joke. He's capable of using his electric-type moves to shatter 3-story buildings, and he can even match the output of natural lightning. His most impressive display of destructive lightning ability happens here though, where he destroys this giant rock formation that stands at over 200 feet tall. He completely shatters this thing, and it's without any of the benefits that he could get from attack boosting moves or his light ball, so he's likely even stronger than this. But Pikachu isn't just strong, he's impressively resilient and durable. Not only has he gone toe-to-toe with legendary Pokemon such as Mewtwo, but he's also been able to endure several building-sized explosions. His best stat though isn't his strength or his durability, but rather his speed. Pikachu is incredibly fast and can move quickly enough in battle that broken logs appear frozen in the air. What's more impressive though is that time that Pikachu ran across the ground and jumped up to attack a group of Spearow Pokemon in the time that it took a single bolt of lightning to disappear from sight. This feat alone has him moving at over 10 times the speed of sound. And both he, and unfortunately by association, Ash Ketchum, match these speeds regularly throughout the franchise. In the end, Pikachu might be an adorable ball of electric weirdness, but he's our adorable ball of electric weirdness. He's been at the focus of the Pokemon franchise for a long time, and while he's often made me question my sanity and what I'm doing with my life even while I wrote this script, there's no doubt that Pikachu has earned his spot as one of the most famous fictional characters in the world. Now let's see how he compares to his opponent for today, Pac-Man.
Pac-Man!
Legend has it that long ago in the mystical era of human history called the 80s, people used to wear jackets designed to break the wind itself, spray their head with bizarre products designed to harden their hair, and visit the mysterious land of Arcades. Here they would stare at boxes with dots moving on them for hours on end, feeding metal coins into the machines. And out of all of the dots in the land, one of humanity's favorite dots to stare at was the hungry yellow pizza slice named Pac-Man. A character as famous as Pac-Man hardly needs any introduction at all, but I'm gonna give him one anyway. He was designed by Namco for arcades in the early 1980s, and while he started as a pretty basic pizza-shaped character, he quickly evolved into the mascot of arcade gaming itself, and really took on a life of his own, with some really weird lore. Hailing from the aptly named Pac-Land, Pac-Man is a 25-year-old male from the Pac-Person species. When Pac-Man was younger, he was taken in and trained by Pac-Master, the legendary hero of Pac-Land who was tasked with defending the world from menacing ghosts. Also worth noting is that he looks like if one of the M&M characters had a baby with the Pringles Man, and that is not a visual I am ever going to search for again as long as I live. While under Pac-Master's mentorship, Pac-Man eventually fell in love with his daughter, Pac-Girl, who would go on to later become the famous Miss Pac-Man. Pac-Man continued to train as a Pac warrior and protect Pac-Land from Pac ghosts and Pac invaders, and through this training process, he gained proficiency in basic combat and is capable of several unique techniques designed to take advantage of his weird body shape, such as the Rev Roll, an attack where Pac-Man launches himself like a bowling ball into his enemies and objects with enough force to break metal crates. He also has his trusty Butt Bounce attack. I'm gonna let you guess what that one does. Pac-Man can also shoot exploding pellets with his Pellet Shoot ability, create copies of himself, eat metal, which he uses to create armor, as one does. He can also walk on walls and even briefly slow down time when he's in direct danger for an enhanced reaction speed. And while hitting things with his butt, eating metal, or cloning himself are pretty run-of-the-mill things that I think all of us here have done at one point or another, Pac-Man has a huge variety of surprising power-ups and items that he's gathered over the years that add an X factor into his fights. For starters, Pac-Man has a variety of consumable pellets that he can eat to give himself newfound power. The green pellet increases his speed, whereas the power pellet allows him to eat ghosts and other spectral beings. The shrink pellet shrinks him down to a minuscule size, while the super pellet makes him bigger, faster, and stronger too. The vortex pellet summons a portal that sucks his enemies away to another dimension, while the electroshock pellet gives Pac-Man the ability to shoot electricity streams from his hands. One of his most unique abilities, though, is the ribbon loop pellet, which leaves a trail of energy behind Pac-Man as he runs. If he ever doubles back on his own path, it closes the loop and explodes. Now, at this point, I think I've covered most of Pac-Man's pellet-related abilities, which is good, because I've already written the word pellet 11 times in the script, and it's already stopped looking like a real word to me. Luckily, Pac-Man has no shortage of non-pellet-related power-ups, such as the Galaxian Boss, which allows him to shoot waves of paralyzing energy out of his bodies. And he can recreate a similar effect with the Rally X car and the trumpet as well. That's right, Pac-Man attacks with a trumpet. I bet you didn't see that coming. Pac-Man also has an array of elemental attacks, which he can use on his enemies, such as Frost Breath, Electricity Beams, Twin Tornadoes, Pyrokinesis, and the Power of Bubbles. And if that wasn't enough to make you scratch your head, Pac-Man can also become invisible, intangible, and gain the power of flight with magic wing boots. Speaking of magic, he also has Magic Chocolate, which turns him into a knight. One of his most impressive abilities, though, is his laser ability, which shoots laser beam attacks at light speed. What I'm trying to get at here with all of these items and power-ups is that Pac-Man is freaking weird. But he's also able to back up that weirdness with a surprising amount of physical competency as well. He can pull boulders that weigh over 7,000 pounds, destroy spaceships with butt bounces, and obliterate large metal boxes. He's durable enough to tank giant explosions, survive magma, and withstand falls from skyscrapers. Much like his opponent Pikachu, Pac-Man has worked his way into the public eye as a lovable yellow mascot of gaming, who has proven time and time again that he can hold his own in a battle. With all that said and done though, it's time for our fight. If you would like to support Smash Bracket, get early access to content and works in progress, and help keep the series alive, consider joining us on Patreon or our YouTube membership program. But with that out of the way, let's get to our fight and see who will advance on to the next round of the Smash Bracket and who will be disqualified. Let's get into it.
Skye. Skye.
3, 2, 1, go!
And there you go! Both fighters here had a huge amount of versatility and tricks up their sleeves. Pac-Man's wide array of power-ups would have caught nearly any fighter off guard, but Pikachu's speed, battle experience, and variety proved to be too much for Pac-Man to overcome. When we look at their stats side by side, Pikachu has Pac-Man beat in just about every area. Pikachu's best attack feat came from that large rock formation that he destroyed. This comes in at the energy equivalent of over 3,800 tons of TNT. To put that in perspective, this explosion is 380 times less energetic than Pikachu's best attack feat. And that's all before he doubles his attack power with the Light Ball and then boosts it with moves like Electric Terrain. This absolutely dwarfs Pac-Man's best attack feat, where he shatters these boxes with his body, which comes in at just under 300 kilograms of TNT. That is such a tiny, tiny fraction of Pikachu's maximum power. If Pac-Man was somehow able to land consistent attacks on Pikachu, he likely could have worn down Pikachu enough to take the victory sometimes. But Pikachu is just too fast. Even if Pac-Man exclusively used his light speed lasers to attack Pikachu, Pikachu just moves too fast for Pac-Man to be able to track him with his hands. Just because his lasers move at light speed doesn't mean that his body can match that. Pac-Man was able to maneuver in his games at over 300 miles per hour, which is incredibly impressive. But Pikachu was moving at over 770 miles per hour. Oh wait, no, sorry, 7,770 miles per hour. And after all of this, Pikachu still outclasses Pac-Man in experience. By the time he reaches level 100, a Pikachu will likely have had thousands of battles under his belt, with a wide variety of opponents. And under the guidance of a skilled trainer, his battle experience would become even more of a huge advantage for maintaining an edge over Pac-Man. In the end, Pac-Man just couldn't hold up against Pikachu's superiority in nearly every single aspect of the battle. Pikachu is the winner and will be moving on to the next round of the Smash Bracket. Next time on the Smash Bracket.
Ryu versus Lucario.